Okay, let's talk about the penultimate episode this season of The Last of Us after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. And in episode 8 of The Last of Us, this is the next to last episode this season, we find that Joel is still unconscious, in pain. He's been sewn up by Ellie, but he really needs something to take care of the infection. That's going to be something that I was thinking about even when he first got the stab wound. It wasn't a matter of stopping the bleeding. It was a matter of keeping him from dying of who knows what. Kind of germs are all around where they are. There's not a whole lot of cleanliness there. But Ellie has found that they're almost out of beef jerky, and so she needs to find some form of something to eat, and goes out with Joel's rifle and is able to shoot a deer. Now, in a couple of places in this where they show animals being shot, they obviously do this either in CG or with models or with mock-ups. They don't actually shoot any real animals, but this is something that you rarely see in movies and shows these days because of the SPCA. The SPCA, in order to give their seal of approval to productions, will show that no animals have been harmed. And if you show a horse fall down, you have to see the horse get back up to show that there wasn't any harm done to the animal. The last big production that was in trouble for that was the movie Patton, where Patton shoots a donkey who's blocking a road that his army has to get over. And they don't show actually the donkey being shot, but he is shown being thrown off the bridge. Now, it wasn't an actual animal at that time either, but they did get complaints from the SPCA for showing abuse to animals. So I find that kind of interesting that they allowed that in here. Although the production is mostly shot in Canada, I suppose that they have different laws there. The story, which was mostly Ellie trying to bargain, first of all, for medicine for Joel. She finds out upon going to the first town that has people in it that it would happen to be the same group of people in which she had killed the men who had jumped Joel back in Kansas City. So this is kind of a awkward situation for her, and she gives up the deer that she had shot in order to get some medicine and be allowed to go back to Joel. However, they track her back there and capture her. Now, the normal kind of plot for this, of course, is for the penicillin to finally take effect on Joel. He gets himself up, tracks her back, and then goes in with guns a-blazing and rescues her. And that doesn't happen. What we see is a survivor, someone who is able to use her experience here and there in order to be able to free herself from the fate that she would get. There were two things that could happen to her there, and neither one of them looked very appetizing to her. And with this, they also talk about cults. The fellow who was the leader of this was a preacher. He was formerly a teacher, but then after the apocalypse became a preacher, but perhaps not so much a holy man as someone who thought of himself more as a cult leader. And you could see the examples there of the people who counted on him in order to keep them safe and keep them fed. And he seemed to relish being that father figure. And he had other plans for Ellie, but she was to have none of it, and used some of her substantial talents in order to be able to free herself just about the time that Joel gets there. And the words that Joel has for her while she's sobbing after going through all of this and so happy to see him up on his feet and able to be the protector again is, it's all right, baby girl, which is what he called his daughter. So this bond between she and Joel ever strengthens, and perhaps what she has become in order to survive will have an impact on her going forward as well. As always, well acted. It was rather cold watching it. They were in. I think they filmed it in Alberta, and it was in the middle of the winter, and so there was snow everywhere. And they, of course, are running through the woods or riding horses through the woods or whatever, and that can. That can chill anybody, even through a television. But otherwise, I thought that it was very well acted, very convincing. You weren't quite sure if the big bad in this episode was really all that bad at first. It was slowly revealed. Of course, Ellie was certainly not convinced at any point of the time. So that is of interest there. So I'd like to know what you think about it. Please put it in the comments below. And of course, please subscribe if you have not done so already. That helps the channel. And someone told me that if we get more likes, that also will help the YouTube algorithm find us. So if you like anything that you see here, click a thumbs up and see if we can get our likes up, see if that does anything for us. But I like you anyway. So thank you for watching. And until next time, don't go far.